Ambitious hiring goals for the last quarter of 2022? With a powerful hiring partner, big goals are no big deal. You need Indeed. Something I love about Indeed is that it helps you select for the skills that matter. With Indeed assessments, you can pick from over 100 skills tests and add them to your job post. That way, you can find candidates with the right skills fast. Join over 3 million businesses worldwide using Indeed to hire great talent fast. Start hiring now with a $75 sponsored job credit to sponsor your job post at Indeed.com/podcast. Offer good for a limited time. Claim your $75 credit now at Indeed.com/podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
Hey everybody, my name is Bob the Drag Queen.
And I'm on Exchange.
And we are the hosts of Sibling Rivalry. This is the podcast where two best friends gab and talk smack and have a lot of fun with our Black queer selves.
Yeah, for sure. And we are family, so we talk about everything, honey, from why we don't like hugs, to Black Lives Matter, to interracial dating, to other things. Right, Bob?
Yes, and it gets messy, and we are not afraid to be wrong. So please join us over here at Sibling Rivalry, available anywhere you get your podcast. You can listen and subscribe for free.
For free, honey.
It doesn't matter what religion you follow, where you come from, how you were raised, the law of attraction is real and it's working every single day, whether you want to accept that or not. And the sooner you accept it, the sooner you can take control, stop accidentally manifesting things you don't want, and start manifesting things that you do want. You're listening to the Self-Made Mastery Podcast, your ultimate guide to total transformation. I'm your host, Adrienne Finch, and I believe wholeheartedly that anyone from any background can create and live their dream life. And the best part is, you only need one thing to start: your mind. So join me here every Wednesday on this transformative journey to master your mindset and unlock your greatest potential. Let's go! Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Self-Made Mastery Podcast. This is episode number 94. We are almost at 100. That is crazy. Today's episode is 5 ways to instantly manifest anything, plus signs that your desires are coming. This is actually a replay of one of the more popular episodes from about 2 years ago. I think it's definitely worth the re-listen. If you are new here, then this is new for you. But either way, I think this episode holds so much powerful information. If you are on your path, on your way to manifesting the life of your dreams, then I definitely recommend taking a listen. I have plenty of podcast episodes on manifestation, and there will be plenty more coming. So I'm really excited. But anyway, as the title said, I'm going to be giving you guys my 5 steps, my 5 ways to instantly manifest anything into your life. And it really does just come down to these 5 things. If you can master them, you can become a manifestation master quicker than you could ever believe. And I'm then after that going to share with you guys the 3 signs that what you're manifesting or what you're trying to manifest is on its way. It's indeed coming, and it's coming soon. So for so long, I just felt like I would get really, really close. I could feel it coming. I was like, yes, I'm on the right track. I'm on the right trajectory. And then I just felt like all of a sudden everything just poof would go away. And it was super weird. I couldn't really figure out why. And then I realized that I was actually doing this to myself. I was self-sabotaging my manifesting mission without even knowing it. So today I'm going to open your mind up and tell you guys kind of the signs to look for so that you don't make the same mistakes that I did. And so that you guys can actually be aware that the things that you're asking for are indeed on their way. And especially sometimes the signs that you see feel like the complete opposite, and I'll get into that. So we're going to talk about 5 ways to instantly manifest anything into your life, and I just want to remind you guys, I have a couple manifesting episodes out. The one that I strongly believe that you should listen to first, well, not before this necessarily, but it does give you a lot of backstory, is the 9-step I forget what it's called. Basically, manifest anything in 24 hours, I think is what it's called. But I really run through like a lot more details on everything, how manifestation even works, what the law of attraction is for all of you non-believers out there or anyone who's skeptical. This really dives into kind of the science behind it and everything like that. And if you scroll through my other episodes, there are a couple other manifesting episodes. I did 7 manifesting mistakes people make. If you feel like it's not working for you, then you could potentially be doing one of those things. So anyway, those are some other episodes that I have, but today we're just going to get right on into it. So step 1, basically for, what you need to do in order to manifest anything into your life is you got to declutter your mind. And I think people overlook this a little bit. They don't realize that when your brain is full and it's cluttered and you're distracted and you have all these stimuli, it's hard to make room for the things that you want to attract into your life and the things you want to bring into your mind and into your subconscious and into your life, right? So I just want to kind of emphasize that, you have to remember that the law of attraction is working all the time. And people who say that it's not working for them, like, oh, well, I tried manifesting and it didn't work. That's just simply not correct, because that's actually not how the law of attraction works. You are manifesting every single day, whether you like it or not. Your thoughts and your beliefs and your attitude, whether negative or positive, is affecting and controlling what you are bringing into your life, what you are attracting, and, what is being put in front of you. And that's literally how it works. So for anyone who is skeptical, or for anyone who feels like they've tried and they're like, nope, it's not working, it actually is working. And that's, it's kind of whether you want to accept it or not, you are manifesting things every single day. So I'm going to kind of help you shape, or I guess take some control on that, because once you realize you can control it and it's going to happen anyway, so you may as well control it, then it'll start working in your favor. So there are many ways to declutter your mind. And again, I just want to emphasize, if you think about your mind as, a cup of water, or you could think about it in any way, but if you think about it as a cup of water and the water is full, it's full of water, and you're trying to attract some orange juice into your cup, right? You can't really put the orange juice in without things starting to overflow. And, because there's just not room for it. So first we need to, try to make room by decluttering. And you can do that through various things. You can meditate. Doing exercise really helps to just calm your brain and really just, stop feeling anxious and stop feeling overwhelmed. And really breathing is another big one. Just literally one deep breath. It can help calm your mind more than you know. And just turning off some notifications and having some moments, even if it's 1 minute or 5 minutes or 10 minutes a day of just quiet time with your eyes closed, just breathing in and out, maybe meditating if you can. Things like that really help you to declutter your mind. I also feel like decluttering your actual physical space can help you declutter your mind as well. I don't know about you guys, but I cannot be productive when my room or my office is messy. And let me tell you, it's kind of funny. I'm sort of a hypocrite because it's messy so often. And then I just feel like I can't be that productive. And so, I try my best, but it's really hard. So I always have to really have a clean, clear environment to feel so refreshed. I just feel calmer. I feel more refreshed when my physical environment is clear. So yeah, decluttering will calm your mind more than you even know. And if you find yourself with more clutter and more things on your plate, another thing to really remember is that it's probably because you keep saying that you don't want clutter, or you keep acknowledging the clutter and saying, I don't want this, I don't want this. And you could even think that kind of that's your way of trying to manifest a less cluttered, a less overwhelming, a less anxious life. But you have to remember that our subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between what you want and what you don't want. So literally those words, want, don't want, it doesn't know what those mean, like and dislike. It doesn't know what those mean. So if you say, I don't want clutter, all it hears is just clutter. It hears the word clutter all the time. You're focused on clutter, and it therefore brings more clutter into your life, right? So you actually have to consciously flip the statement into a positive vibration, or I like to call them high vibration frequencies and low vibration frequencies. That's a tongue twister. The more that you're thinking that positive thought, the higher the vibration, and the more that you're attracting those other higher vibration things and energies into your life, like those positive things, those things that you desire, that money, that love, everything that is a good, positive, high vibrational feeling. So remember that when you are trying to manifest, try to avoid the don't wants. This is what I don't want. I don't want another bill, no more bills. Instead, you need to flip it into a positive statement. So instead of saying, I don't want clutter, you could say, I want calm and peacefulness, because all your subconscious mind is hearing is calm and peaceful. It's not hearing the I want or the I don't want. So if you flip it into what you do want that is a positive thing and envision that, then that's what will attract things into your life. So that's number 1, decluttering your mind. Number 2 is number 2, 3, and 4 are kind of all about visualization, but I want to emphasize a couple things that I feel like I was doing wrong. So number 2, it's really, really important to visualize from the present. Now, I talk about visualizing often, but I need to be clear kind of about what I mean by this. So remember that your subconscious mind controls 90% of your actions, your words, your thoughts, and your conscious mind is actually only about 10%. I always think of that graphic of an iceberg and how, only the little tip of the iceberg shows above the water, but really underneath the water is this huge iceberg that we can't see from the surface. That's how I think about our mind and our brain. It's that little tip on the top is your conscious mind. And actually that huge iceberg underneath the water is your subconscious mind. So your subconscious mind is doing majority of the work. I hear this example a lot too of when you're kind of driving down the highway and maybe you're just on this straight road and it's kind of boring, and all of a sudden you almost feel like you forgot that you're driving. Like you almost kind of get into this meditative state and then you kind of snap out of it and you're like, whoa, I'm driving. How did I not just crash? I don't know if that's happened to you. It's a little bit scary, but that is a prime example of your subconscious mind doing the work for you. Your subconscious is kind of on autopilot and it's looking at the road, it's making sure you're not crashing, it's turning the right way, while your conscious mind is sort of zoning out. So basically, you got to remember that your subconscious mind controls 90% of your actions. So I'm getting to how this means that we need to visualize from the present. But the part of our mind that we aren't consciously accessing is pretty much ruling our entire self. And what I've talked about before is that part of your mind is able to be accessed and it's able to be trained and controlled to do what we want, to attract what we want. And that is, at its core, what learning how to manifest is. It's becoming this, way that we can break down the barrier between our subconscious and our conscious and start to control what our subconscious is focused on. I know this might sound a little confusing, but I promise if you kind of listen and re-listen and go back to those older episodes, this will make a ton of sense. So what does this mean for visualizing? Well, I kind of just touched on this, but instead of consciously thinking just like, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, which really actually isn't penetrating your subconscious on a deeper level. It's just kind of stating like, yes, you are thinking about the object, and that can help. It definitely does help. But we need to go one step further to actually penetrate that subconscious. And in order to do that, we need to visualize that you already right now have that thing that you want. So instead of just thinking about the future, you actually want to close your eyes for a second to practice this and think about the thing that you want already being in your hands or in your life or whatever it is, and how you feel about that. Like imagine that right now, right here, you have that new car that you want. How does it smell? What does it sound like? How do you feel when you realize that you can go to the car lot and buy that car today? You know what I mean? So really be visualizing from the present tense as if you already have all the things that you want. And I've talked about that before too, with kind of like positive affirmations and, when you're speaking of yourself and of your goals, to basically speak in the present tense instead of like, I want this or I wish for this. You say, I have this, I am this, and I'm thankful for that. And so I really want to also emphasize the emotional aspect of it. That actually leads us to number 3, is the emotional response. This is another way to just deepen that connection with our subconscious mind, because our subconscious responds to emotions. It responds to emotional triggers. When you feel something from a thought, when a thought or a thing makes you feel a certain way, that amplifies everything. It amplifies what your mind is deeming as important or not important. And this is where manifesting can go either way. If you feel extremely bad about something or extremely good about something, either way, that's triggering your brain. So how do you feel when that thing that you want is in your lap? What does it sound like? How do you celebrate it? Literally feel those emotions. Because the subconscious can't tell the difference between what's actually happening in reality and what you are visualizing. And if you think about a dream, that's why you can wake up from a dream sometimes in the morning and you literally feel like emotionally affected. Like, I don't know about you, but I've had dreams about like so many different things. I had a dream that I was on a Netflix show, and when I woke up, I was like so sad that it wasn't true. I've had dreams that I had 1 million YouTube subscribers. I had dreams about relationships and boyfriends, and that like an ex came back, and like you wake up. Or actually the opposite too, like that someone I was dating like cheated on me, and you wake up and you're literally mad at them. Like your dream, something your brain completely made up, triggered a real emotional response. So the same way that we dream and we feel things with that, we're almost trying to emulate that dream state with our visualization. So when you do take a moment to really sit there with yourself and close your eyes and visualize, and you don't have to do that part every single day. I think it definitely helps. But, don't freak out that like you have to spend 10 minutes a day just visualizing your thing. It's definitely going to expedite the process of manifesting, but whether it's for, just 60 seconds, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, try to emulate that dream state. Really get lost in your imagination of what your life is going to look like, what it's going to feel like when you have that thing that you are trying to manifest. And imagine that this is taking place right now, right? You are having this right now. You're way better at imagining things than you think. I will tell you right now. Dig deep into that kind of childhood imagination that you used to have, that storytelling brain, and literally pretend right here, right now that you have what you want, and create this whole story, create this whole emotional response. That is going to train your subconscious and point it in the right direction to do the work for you and to bring you what you want. And that we kind of sometimes call mind reality distortion. You are basically manipulating your mind to think that what you're experiencing right now is real. And that will bring more of those things into your life. Ambitious hiring goals for the last quarter of 2022? With a powerful hiring partner, big goals are no big deal. You need Indeed. Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Something I love about Indeed is that it helps you select for the skills that matter. With Indeed assessments, you can pick from over 100 skills tests and add them to your job post. That way, you can find candidates with the right skills fast. Indeed assessments can even give you a window into how candidates will be on the job. On average, applicants who scored Proficient Plus on the reliability assessment were nearly 8 times more likely to consistently attend work, according to US Indeed data. The right candidate is doing everything they can to find you, and if you use Indeed, you can be sure you're doing everything you can to find them too. Join over 3 million businesses worldwide using Indeed to hire great talent fast. Start hiring now with a $75 sponsored job credit to sponsor your job post at Indeed.com/podcast. Offer good for a limited time. Claim your $75 credit now at Indeed.com/podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
Hi, I'm Tori DeSimone, and I'm the host of Manifest with Tori DeSimone. I started YouTube when I was just 14 years old and have since converted my online presence into the real world and am an entrepreneur. Through opening 2 brick and mortar fitness studios, I found a huge passion in helping others create the life they can only dream of. On Manifest with Tori DeSimone, we cover topics of manifestation, setting routines to best serve your dream life, inspiration in day-to-day activities, how to be the CEO of your own life, and so much more. You can catch Manifest with Tori DeSimone every Monday anywhere you listen to podcasts like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and everywhere else. Subscribe so you don't ever miss a new episode.
So number 4 has to do with vision boards and kind of visual cues. So I've talked before about vision boards. I did a whole episode on it. And again, I always recommend listening to the previous episodes about these topics. But I want to emphasize again with kind of this subconscious mind that we're talking about, that I want you guys to really be placing visual cues kind of around different places, whether it's on your phone background, on your wall, on your mirror in the bathroom. the more that you can create a symbol or a word, nothing too crazy, nothing that your nothing that your conscious mind is going to like stress out over and have to, consciously read and think about, just a little reminder that'll like trigger that subconscious mind to see it and kind of be like, oh yeah, that, and just have it be a little reminder, right? So if you can place some small visuals around, nothing so distracting, but little symbols and words here and there, wherever you want, then your subconscious mind will see those and pick up on those. And every time, I will tell you guys, every single time that I have manifested something into my life, I have done that. I have taped little things onto my wall, or I've written something in my planner that I kept having to flip through. And it's not like I would consciously think about it. I think I told you guys that when I manifested an unexpected $5,000, which like seemed crazy. That was like the coolest thing I've ever manifested. Literally, I had written an unexpected 5K in my planner, and I literally never thought about it again after that. I wrote it down. I just wrote, I want an unexpected, or I didn't write I want. I think I just wrote an unexpected 5K. And what had happened is every day when I would open my planner, I'd have to flip through and I would see that written down. So I wasn't consciously thinking about it, but my brain, like my eyeballs, physically would skim over that every time I'd open my planner every single day. So that was a constant little reminder to my subconscious of like, ding, 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 she wants that. We're going to show her and filter her these opportunities that will lead her to that unexpected 5K. And that's exactly what happened. And if you guys are listening to this and you're new or you haven't heard a lot about the law of attraction, I highly recommend listening to my vision boards episode, because I actually talk about the science of what is going down in our brains when we are manifesting, because there really is a lot of science behind it and it'll make so much more sense to you. You'll actually believe it so much more sometimes if you have kind of that validation. I know that I needed that when I first started hearing about this. Like I weirdly needed some proof. I was like, I don't know about this. And then the second I kind of heard, what your brain is actually doing to filter these opportunities, to see the things that you need to be doing and saying and, experiencing in order to bring these into your life, you're going to be like, oh my God. Oh yeah, okay, that's a thing and that makes sense. So definitely use visual cues and make sure that they're really tickling your subconscious. Okay, and now number 5 is just simply, not just simply, this is one of the hardest ones for people, I think. I get the most comments about this being hard, and that is to just let go of the outcome. Let go, live now, have no attachment to the outcome. None. So that's the tricky part, because a lot of times when you want to manifest something, it's something that you feel like you need. Like, I need to do this. I need this money for rent. I need. And when you feel that pressure and when you feel that need, that longing, like you feel almost panicked for the outcome if you don't get it, that is going to do the complete opposite of what you want, and that is going to create resistance, and it's actually going to push that away from you. And I know that that is so heartbreaking to hear, because it's really hard to control that part. It's really hard to not care about the outcome of something. We're human beings. We care what happens, right? And I need you guys to really try to dig deep and just try with all your might to let go of the outcome. And that includes letting go of how and when something is going to happen, because you just have no idea. Things happen and, show up in not only the most unexpected ways, but at the most unexpected times. And a lot of you guys who tried my 24-hour manifesting kind of challenge, you guys all messaged me thinking, or saying that the thing that you were manifesting ended up showing up, but not in the way that you expected whatsoever. And that at first you were thinking it wasn't working because you were looking for something. You were looking for, that clue, or like if you were trying to manifest a butterfly, you were like going outside and kind of like looking around. But that's not when it would come. It would then show up maybe on your Instagram feed. Some account would post a beautiful picture of a butterfly and you didn't expect to see it like that, right? So that is the reason you cannot, predict or try to meddle with the how and the when it's going to happen. You just have to let the universe take control and let it show up when and how it wants to show up, because chances are you're probably looking in the complete wrong spot, right? Even if you're like, I need money, or I need to pay my rent or go on this trip. What you guys don't understand is manifesting money is a very interesting thing, because you're manifesting money so that you can spend it on something, right? If you're like, oh, well, I want money because I need a new car or I want new shoes, like, then you really should be trying to manifest that actual thing that you want, the shoes or the car, not the money. Because what people don't realize is that those shoes or that car could come into your life in a number of ways. We think that having money is the only way we could go get a new car, but that's just not the case. You know, you could be gifted something, you could win something, a friend could say that they got the opportunity to get a new car and they don't want theirs anymore. Like, I don't know, there are a million ways that something like that can come into your life. When you're just focused on money, that's actually you creating the how. You're creating the path of how you're going to get the thing you want. And that is what we need to not do. We need to not create the path. We need to just let it happen. All you need to do is visualize and think about that thing that you're desiring. So that's step 5, let go. Just drop it. Just trust the universe, detach from the outcome as best you can. And when you find yourself freaking out about it or worrying about it, just shut your mind off and remember that that's only going to make it worse. It's going to create resistance. You just need to trust that it's going to happen. Just trust that it will. And that is what separates, I think, like master manifestation. I was going to say master. Oh my God, this is a tongue twister. That's what separates a manifestation master, there we go, from, someone who's just starting or who's new. And that's why I always recommend starting with like a very small, object or thing that has no importance in your life, because then you're already training yourself to not care about the outcome because you don't care about the outcome. Like if you don't see a butterfly, that doesn't change your life, right? So I always say to start with something small that you really don't care. Like there are no stakes, there's no risk. And then you can build your way up to kind of bigger things. And along the way, you can train yourself to not worry about the outcome. So those are the 5 things. If you guys can really focus on those 5 things, and then again, if you want to hear the 9-step kind of 24-hour manifesting challenge, you can reference my other episode. But those are really the 5 things that you need to do, that you could do today or tomorrow to really start manifesting something. So that'll be really exciting. I can't wait to hear if this worked for you guys. So now we're going to get into basically what are the 3 signs that the things that you are manifesting are coming. So this part of the episode is for people who feel like they have really been practicing and trying to believe that they can and trying to manifest, different types of things. And maybe sometimes it's worked, maybe sometimes it hasn't worked though. And those times that it hasn't worked, maybe you feel like, it's all right there and you feel so good, and then it just kind of crumbles down and you don't really understand what happened. So I'm going to go through a couple signs that actually what you're manifesting is about to come, and it may not look like it. So if you can kind of be aware of these things and just take everything as it comes, then you won't stop the thing you're manifesting from coming. You will allow it to continue its process in full and land straight smack dab in your lap. So the first thing, and you guys, I want to credit this guy on YouTube a little bit. His name is, oh man, I literally cannot pronounce his name. It is Master Sri Akarshana. Okay, that is him. I got a lot of these tips from him because I was Googling. It's actually funny. I was like thinking about how a couple things I wanted to manifest weren't showing up. And then his video literally showed up in my recommended section, and it was called, actually, the first one was called like 3 ways to tell that what you're manifesting is coming or something like that. And so I was like, oh my God, that was a sign if I've ever seen one, is that was in my recommended section. So I watched it and got a lot of like really helpful insight from that. So I'll actually link that down below as well. But the first sign that what you're manifesting is indeed on its way is actually loss. So this sounds, crazy and counterintuitive and what? That doesn't make sense. Loss? What do you mean? So I'm going to lose things and then they're going to come into my life? Well, sometimes yes, not always. But sometimes it's right after experiencing a loss that the thing that you wanted or the thing that's best for you comes into your life. And we can kind of bring it back to that very first thing I was talking about on this episode, which was that if you have a cup that's full, sometimes you need to make room for something new, right? So you need to dump out a little bit of the water to pour more in. So sometimes we experience these losses and they feel so terrible, like they feel so heartbreaking and sad and why is the universe doing this to me? The universe isn't on my side. But at the same time, it's actually the opposite. They're actually creating this space for you so that you can gain something even bigger. The gain is always going to be bigger and better than the loss. And we can really break it down as simply as like, if one door closes, it's so that another door opens, right? And the second you can kind of accept that and realize that that is how life works too. Like every time you feel like you lost something, or you feel like you didn't get that job, or someone close to you, left you, you just have to trust that that all is for a reason, and that all is because it's the only way that it's going to allow for the things that you want. So make sure that if you suffer a loss, don't shift into this negative vibration. Don't shift into this negative space, because that's opening up your mind to kind of, give up on the process. And then you're going to create all this resistance and it's not going to come. But if you just stay trusting and positive and you keep on believing, then right after that loss, your mind is being opened up to allow these new and intentional things into your life. So if you just trust the universe, trust what's happening, trust when things don't go your way, that they weren't supposed to go your way. So if you're someone sitting there like, I keep losing things and I'm not gaining anything after, you literally need to flip that mindset right now, because that mindset is coming from a place of lack rather than abundance. And having a scarcity mindset like that, as I've talked about before, and God forbid actually voicing it out loud, like, oh, well, the universe doesn't like me, I never get anything. That's almost a guarantee that you will not manifest what you want. Because again, your thoughts dictate your beliefs, and your beliefs control what you attract in the world. And if you believe that life is hard, it will be hard. If you believe everyone's out to get you, that's what your life is going to feel like. That's how that works, okay? So if you experience a loss of some sort, hang in there, because that is one of the first signs that you are about to get the things that you are desiring. You are about to manifest. It's about to come full circle, okay? The second thing to look out for, the second sign, is odd requests. This one struck a very personal chord with me when I heard this YouTube video about it, because I feel like that happens to me all the time. Now, what do I mean by an odd request? I just mean anything that is a little bit out of the ordinary, that someone is asking you to do, somewhere that someone wants you to go. Maybe a really old friend you haven't heard from in 10 years hits you up and wants to meet, and it could just feel very odd. Or, maybe someone asks you if you want to go out to a bar one night, and you think that you shouldn't, but for some reason you want to. You're just I feel like I should. You need to just trust that instinct. Sometimes it's these odd requests that are going to be the way that you're delivered what you want. Again, you cannot control the how and when something happens. You need to keep an open mind, and you need to say yes to things sometimes, even if they seem out of the ordinary, because your mind and the universe are delivering what you want to you. What you asked for, what you're manifesting, is being delivered to you, but it's not always in the way that you expect, like I was talking about. So sometimes it'll come in the form of, some random person that you used to be friends with asked you to go to dinner, and then that same night you meet the love of your life. And if you hadn't gone to dinner with that person, you wouldn't have met the love of your life, right? There's always this kind of butterfly effect and ripple effect. And I just want to point out that especially when you're about to receive the things that you're trying to manifest, you will get odd requests. And don't overthink this. Don't try to notice it. Don't try to look for it. But just be aware. If you do get an odd request, just be aware that that is actually sometimes a good sign, and just go with your gut. Just be very in tune with what your instinct is telling you to do, right? Again, with the going out thing, if you have a lot of work to do and someone's come out to this club, and you're I really don't want to, then don't. But if something in you is I don't know why, but I kind of just really want to do this, you should listen to your gut and just do it. Or even if you don't have that gut feeling, sometimes just say yes. Just say yes, because you just never know why that happened, especially when it's out of the ordinary. There's a reason for that. I don't believe in coincidences personally. And that actually kind of leads me to the third thing, which is feeling happy and positive sometimes when it doesn't necessarily make sense. Now, listen, emotions are up and down all the time. You know, there's no formula for when you're going to feel a certain way, or, sometimes I'll get a random burst of kind of sadness, and sometimes I'll get a random burst of happiness. And sometimes what I have found is that my random burst of happiness sometimes comes at a time when it actually feels like I should be like sad or upset. Like something bad maybe just happened or whatever. And then all of a sudden I'm just like really happy and excited and hopeful for the future. And it almost feels weird. It almost doesn't make sense. I'm like, why am I so happy right now when, that thing just went wrong? And this is another sign in my mind. This is one that I made up to tell you guys because this has happened to me, is like, if you feel like you're randomly feeling like really happy or positive and it doesn't necessarily make sense, that is also a sign that what you're trying to attract is about to come. And the reason for that is that, again, like this is all this positive feedback loop. If you are believing that you can do this and you're thinking positively and you're visualizing and all of your thoughts are these higher vibrational frequencies, then you're going to attract the things you want into your life, right? And as you attract the things you want into your life, there goes that positive feedback loop where you in turn are then feeling more positive and feeling more happy and, shooting out higher vibrational frequencies. It's this circle. So you're going to feel better and you're going to feel positive and happy and believe more when that thing is already on its way to you that you want, right? That might be a little bit confusing, but basically it's all this circle. So if you start unexpectedly feeling really good, then it means that good thing that you've been trying to manifest is coming or is here, and you just have yet to see it or notice it. So that I love diving into kind of the signs because it really helped me to wrap my head around like why sometimes it wasn't working for me. And I think it was because I shut it down before I even let it fully play out. Like if something bad happened to me, I'd be like, oh, well, that's not going to work, right? Like, well, why is this bad thing happening to me if I'm trying to manifest this good thing? And it turns out sometimes actually those kind of opposite signs are really telling us that what we want is about to come. So that is today's episode. I hope that you guys found this helpful. Please give me any feedback that you want over in the ratings and reviews. I really hope you give me a 5-star rating. I don't know where that accent came from. But let's chat on Instagram. Let's chat in my Facebook group. And I hope that you guys go out there and you do the 24-hour manifesting challenge. Keep updating me with your progress. I really want to hear how it's going for you guys. And I hope that you guys found this episode helpful. I will see you guys next week in my next episode, and keeping it real, keep it fresh, keep it fun. I don't know what that is. That's definitely not my new slogan. I don't know. But I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you. Oh my God, I said video again. I always do that. I will catch you guys in the next podcast. Love you so much. Bye.
New on Curiosity Stream, the Nazis' true strength was their propaganda.
You had posters, you had banners, you had music.
See how a mastery of messaging galvanized Hitler's march to power in Project Nazi Blueprints of Evil. And if space is the final frontier, is it destined to be monetized? The battle between space exploration and galactic capitalism may have already begun. Don't miss Space Greed. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com. New on Curiosity Stream. Get ready for the best of the best with our 100 Days of Curiosity, featuring fan-favorite titles like Light on Earth with Sir David Attenborough.
Join me on a journey like no other.
Stephen Hawking's favorite places.
It's a crazy world out there.
The History of Home with Nick Offerman.
Not my home, just homes. Other people's homes.
And many more. Don't miss 100 Days of Curiosity, happening right now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.